that's a little bit timely, a little topical, and that's abortions. You know, these Planned Parenthood videos, you know, are so disturbing to me. And, well, my first question is, should we be selling fetal remains?
I'm sorry, what are they doing?
They had undercover agents or people, I don't know, posing as somebody who was going to buy fetal tissue. And it was like, hey, yeah, that's the brain. And, oh, did I hear the skull cracking? Yeah, that was the skull cracking. And you know, sometimes they would tap the baby and the heart would start beating again, so they had to kill it. It was just like, you know, but, you know, this is how much a kidney might go for. This is how much. So should we be doing that, or is it okay for stem cells and all that?
Wow, I obviously, I don't watch the news or anything, so I stay very underground, which is kind of fortunate but unfortunate. And Eric, he's
sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No worries. Eric is backing himself up to start at the beginning. He said it's not appropriate. It's puts his hands together this time to talk. You know, they're not
it's
flying
serious.
everywhere. Yeah,
it's
it's serious. And he says, and this is why I'll draw the line. This is him drawing the line. And he said, when we can communicate and advocate for ourselves and say, hell yeah, I want to sell my kidney. Or I'm going to sign this piece of paper that when I die, you can have my brain, my heart, I'll donate my eyes, whatever you need. I'm all for that, because then you are agreeing to what is happening with your tissue, your cell, your DNA. When you're getting an abortion and you are ending that pregnancy, and he goes, trust me, I'm not against that, because I know that if I was choosing to come into a woman's body and I knew that she didn't want me, but I'm going to do this pregnancy anyways, I'm not going to squeeze my ass in there into that body. It's going to be a mechanical item. I'm going to be aware that there's, 80, 90, 100% chance that my body is going to be out of that womb before it could ever be born. It can't sustain itself. But I'm going to help that woman, my mom that I chose, through that process of making that choice, coming to that conclusion. He goes, so please understand, I'm not sitting here saying you don't have a choice. You do. And trust us, energetically, we know what choice we're stepping into. Mm-hmm. So it's not the killing of a soul.
Yeah.
Right? You can't kill us.
No.
Okay, so we need to... So what? We need to peel back those emotions that are associated with death, with abortion. Because it's really quite different. Now, what we have is a topic of a body that is living tissue, that the soul is already removed from, because we are so fucking aware that we're not going to live, that we don't hang in there and suffer and do those things. Mm-mm. Trust us. I guess you'll trust us when you get here, right? Then you can really learn about it. But when the body is still living after they've taken it out of the womb, like my mom was saying, they'll tap it and the heart will beat, and then they have to stop the heartbeat again. Those tissues and that should not belong to the company who has done the abortion. The company should have the rights to say, we're doing this activity for this woman, but this woman should own the rights to those tissues, DNA, organs, and everything. And she should have the right to say, yes, I want this to be used for research, or no, this needs to be put to rest. Something needs to happen with it. And he goes, and if we need to get as far as the woman has to take the tissues out with her and pay for a service to cremate or pay for something of that nature, then we should probably get there. But a company should not be making the decisions over those DNAs and tissues and everything.
That makes sense.
It should be the woman who created it.
So, see, I was always really conflicted between pro-choice and pro-life. My feeling for a while was, well, what about the baby's choice? But, and I guess the baby does have a choice in whether to be aborted or not. Then is that what you're saying? Is that why you're pro-abortion? I mean, pro-choice?
I'm pro-choice because I know that when we're picking our lives, sometimes it's our purpose to side saddle that woman through the pregnancy of 4 months, 5 months, 8 months. Sometimes, like in a miscarriage circumstance, a stillbirth. we side saddle that mother and we stay with them and we love them and we show compassion and we help them understand what it's like to create and not be able to have, or create and make the decision to let go. He says it's not our place to judge it, but it doesn't kill our soul because we're not going through. See, the belief system that when the heart starts beating, right, there's enough cells grouped together that all of a sudden, bam, the soul is like sewn to it, tethered to it.
Yeah, right.
And it's got to go through that whole process and feel it like we feel when we're awake and alive. That's bullshit. Sorry to some of your beliefs, but Di, come on over here. I'll hold your hand and we'll walk through it. I'm sweating over here.
Oh my gosh, poor you. You put her through her paces, man. I'm telling you. So, it looks like mother and child very often makes contracts for lessons like letting go, and what else? What other lessons are there besides the lesson of learning to let go?
Putting self first, compassion, ultimate love, unconditional love, especially for self. If you're making that decision that you can't bring this child into this world, and there's many reasons to make those decisions. All of them valid, So, and even some that's just total immaturity, and selfish. There's those that we deem in earth plane judging as negative and it's so wrong and this and that. But that's a big grand ass lesson that this mama's going through. Because energetically we support that. You're in control. You really are. So
what other lessons? Loss, maybe? Learn what loss is all about?
Well, stillborn is a lot about loss.
And probably
miscarriage is a lot about loss.
Yeah.
But abortion, that's a choice, and you're walking yourself through it. So a lot of it is courage, letting go, putting self first, is huge, especially in this culture. You shouldn't put yourself first, especially in Indian culture, man. Women should never put themselves first.
Yeah.
So imagine the amount of courage that it takes to end up in this kind of situation where you follow through with it, and the battering that you do to yourself. What have I done? What have I done? When really it was, embrace it. It was the choice you needed to make, and we're going to love you through every step of it.
Okay, so what about some people say, well, why do you have to kill the baby? Why can't you just carry it to term and give it away to people who can't have children?
He's pretending to unroll a list, and it hits the floor, He goes, really? Well, that's just another judgment. That's you coming with the belief system that life that was either accidentally made or made on purpose is more valuable than the life that you're about to lead. Because with pregnancy comes a whole shift. Right? Women sometimes, even in their 6th month, can't even work anymore. They can't even stand. They might lose all their income. They might not be able to feed a child that they have. He says there's so many elements that interact with this. They might place shame upon themselves because they're single, they're young, they're this, they're that. And the choice of terminating the pregnancy was much more valuable to them than giving life to it and handing it on.
Yeah.
He says, before somebody thinks that way, I would encourage them to bring up the adoption lists worldwide and see how many babies are waiting to be adopted. And then somebody who has that kind of thought that you should always give birth to the baby that you have and give it life and adopt it to somebody else. I challenge you to now go start adopting babies and fulfill that belief system that you have for yourself. And then I would say, oh, you don't want to adopt a baby? Oh, you don't want to do that? Well, why do you have that choice if you're making her follow through?
Because 5 was enough. Where do you think this covered up gray roots come from?
He goes, I like the casual look, Mom. I like this.
Yeah, I know.
I just shag.
T-shirt and just a ratty cut off, blue jeans, shorts, and flip-flops today.
No, he goes, I like the hair. I like
you know what I did?
Straight.
Yeah, I always wanted that expensive keratin treatment, but I was too cheap to do it. Where they flat iron keratin into your hair, the salon.
Oh, cool.
I bought some online for $34 and did it myself, and it works great. But it's flat iron, so I can't wash it for a couple of days. But we'll see if I look like Little Orphan Annie soon after that. Who knows? So yeah, I'm really excited about that today. And all right, so anything else on the contracts and here's another one. Does the baby that's aborted or miscarried or stillborn very often come back to the same parents?
Yes.
Okay.
More than less.
Okay.
The child that's aborted or miscarried or has a stillborn comes back to the same mom or the same parents.
Okay.
And even in different ways. Let's say it's stillborn or miscarriages, and then they find out that the woman can't carry full term. That one will go roundabout way. Get born elsewhere, get on an adoption list, like go surrogacy. It's amazing.
Okay. That's good. You know, when this is not so fringe, all of this, then people may start doing things like channeling the baby that they're going to abort, or channeling the miscarried baby's soul or the stillborn soul, and just communicating, and you know, is this what you want, or why did you do this? What was I supposed to learn from it, and so on.
He said, I'm all for that. He said, I wish people would start doing that now more.
I know. I think it'd be very valuable and give peace. You know, if the baby said, "Hey, I'm not into this, man. Take me out. Take my body out.
Here.
I'm out of here." All right, this is not along the same lines, but you know, it's not enough to really have in one session. But